Start the recording. So the idea today is to look at alts through the lens of BTC pairings, because I think that it might be time to stack some sats with altcoins. It's been a while since that was possible. And we discussed in the past how even dominance might not need to move that much to make some significant gains against BTC if you choose the right coins, and how stuff like XRP getting hit by the SEC, how stuff like that obviously counterbalances what, for example, some strong DeFi pairs gain against Bitcoin. Like by far, that outbalances it easily. For example, we look here at the DeFi top 100. It's pretty cool that CoinGecko had this. So if we go to the top market cap coins, we can see that the market cap of XRP is still 13 billion, and the whole of DeFi currently is only double that. So if like a handful of coins move on this side and XRP gets hit super hard, that will basically cancel out the BTC dominance movements. And I think that the trends have been on some coins going on for a bit, and we gotta see if that's the case, or at least are very, very close to reversing. So yeah, DeFi market cap, I looked at this and choose the coins we're looking at, partly with this list, but we can later add some more to the list or take some suggestions from you guys. But yeah, BTC dominance, quick one. We all know this from the calls. The fake high bull trap thing wasn't reclaimed. Now this looks pretty bearish. We don't have a full trend yet. If we go to low time frame, this is still holding right here, but it's already not bad, right? Like this, like if we get anything below this level, then we got a trend going, and that's basically when you get your confirmation. So far that's not bad. And what I noticed the other day, what I shared in admin thoughts, was that Ethereum dominance had that same structure, right? So here, this thing, and Ethereum again looks a bit different if you zoom out, but this right now basically means two things. Like these structures will either break upwards or downwards, and upwards would mean that both Bitcoin and Ethereum run together and crush the rest of the market, and like for some reason Bitcoin runs and Ethereum runs as hard and doesn't lose share like against it, but crushes all the other altcoins. Or both Bitcoin and Ethereum underperform against the vast majority of the market, and I think that the latter scenario is more likely. The first one just sounds weird in my opinion. Like doesn't sound like that is what would happen, for example, if Bitcoin ran hard. Like I don't think Ethereum would be the one out that would go with it. So let's look at some BTC pairings. Compound BTC downtrend. As you can see, we don't have that much price history. It just went down basically since inception. Occasionally you would get like double bottoms and a bull diff, and that's when it bounces. Like here, very significant bounce. That was like, what's that? 70%. Not bad if you manage to risk some Bitcoin and get 70% more back. And that happened when we got this thing right here. So currently this is like a much smaller structure, but we got this with the bull div. It's currently breaking out. It's even trying to get like above this MA, but it's not the most significant one in this time frame. And I think I'm on the wrong screen here. Give me a sec. Yeah. Here I got a couple more. So you can also see how a couple more indicators have started to diverge here. This bull crust on the daily. Last time that happened, that didn't last for so long. What's that? I mean, like the peak was already a week later. But before, here in November, it had like a nice week, and obviously you would love to see a more sustained breakout with maybe two legs like here. I think the market might be ripe for that. You can see how there's a good amount of compression going on, like the oscillation here was very wide and now it's already getting narrower. Not sure if that's enough yet, but could be. So yeah, comp, zooming in. Who would have known? It's a giraffe. It's a fucking giraffe. Okay, double bottom, and this is looking like it could be breaking the trend right here, right? It's a double bottom. You got the low, the high, equal low, and now a higher high. And if we manage to print some sort of higher low next, then that will look pretty good. Rune BTC looks a little bit earlier than this one, right? Not bad. Maybe Rune is about to follow comp here. This could be good for like a play and margin channel. It's not absolutely the same, but very similar in my opinion. So on Rune we already have the break of the high here, and we got the low, break of the high, higher low forming now. Well, when this confirmation comes, that's already a good amount of money that's off the table. So if we compare this to what comp did, I think the RR isn't bad to just enter it in this consolidation structure here, which would be this. We even have like a pretty pronounced V here and a rounded like handle type of thing. So it doesn't look bad against Bitcoin at all. And AV looks pretty good too. Let me zoom out here. Oops. So this is a fan I made for it. There is a different one that is even more accurate that starts from back here. I got that on CoinTrader. Oops. That was against USD though. No idea why this doesn't work today. Let me check something. Do this on a different screen. So this chart used to give the full price history since it was lent, and now this is a different chart. I don't know what happened there. It's unfortunate. Okay, I gotta live without that. But here against Bitcoin, this actually, like the way this bounced here on the daily, also to me looks pretty good. You could argue that something like this could be a bear flag, but to me the range on this is too large. Like these things, of course, like on the way down, just like these child bear flags all day. This to me looks like it's just starting to heat up again. And I think if we look at SNX next, we will see that something that might not look very bullish while it's doing this, as soon as it takes the high, suddenly that looks very, very different. And obviously here again, if you wait for it to take that high, that's going to be, okay, 27%. You can pay that for confirmation. Still, I think if you can get like pullbacks to an EMA flip right here, let me just go ahead and put an alert there. Like the way this worked the past days, the alerts I said, they all started like on the USD pairings, they all started to go off in concert basically, and then I just bought whatever. I didn't even check the individual charts. I just when I was on margin, I just bought three things, and like 10 seconds later everything started to go up. So this is a very useful thing to do. Just set the alerts on your TradingView account, and if you're at the screen when it happens, then you can get very good entries. On a longer time frame, actually no, I was thinking you could also get something like this, but in my opinion that's unlikely. I would rather go for something like this. And obviously you could have like later entry triggers right here. Got a nice structure down here that looks like it could be a bottom, and upwards targets. I mean, there we come to that question of, can these DeFi coins against BTC after BTC ran like this, can they eclipse the DeFi, the first DeFi hype cycle BTC highs, right? I think they could, especially if like the condition for this cycle to play out is BTC staying rather stable and ranging. Then I think that getting back up there, that's just doubling the price, and that's actually very doable on the USD side too. So yeah, why not? We could do a little fib retracement if we maybe that's a little bit too early. Actually, we can do that if we manage to eclipse that. But maybe we can get some levels out of this. So something that I like to do is I look for significant pullbacks on the way up. Basically the pullbacks that would have ejected you out of that move before it really got going. Which here could have been several of these, but I like this one. And I got my tool, you know that from the video where I only got the 0.618s. And yeah, that data is not bad. If you do that soon enough on the way up on a rising asset, then that can be a pretty good guidance on your way up. Ah, fuck, it doesn't reach that high. That's unfortunate. Why is that? Okay, those are definitely enough. Yeah, the problem is that this the data is just like not as wide of a range as it needs to be. So let's take something else. Let's see what we get from the capitulation here. Kick everybody out before this thing 200x. I'm not sure if this will be as good. Still not high enough. Fuck. Okay, we need more recent data. Yeah. I like that. I mean, that's just a high, right? And that those would be like extension targets, so that's not important right now. I might actually, this is actually good, and I might use a different tool for this. Yeah. Okay, this is very useful for the structure we're in right now. So yeah, this basically lines up with where the EMA would end up being. So you got that, and you got that fib. That 0.618 from that old move here. Still relevant, still an important level. I like that. Like for a, okay, that I might do one closer to here too. So then I really know I want to buy. It's basically the retest of that consolidation here, right? When it retests that, we want to be buyers, and the alert here might be good. Might even be needs to be a little bit higher, because might also just fill when it's done here. Like it should be going a bit higher. When it's done here, it's going to want to fill this basically. But yeah, a BTC for now looks good. Doesn't look too bearish to me. Okay, as an X, I already alerted everybody to this breakout last night, and I said that if that gets a retest, which it did, then that's the trigger to get in on the BTC side. And if we zoom out here, look kind of like a bear flag, right? But then it just breaks upwards because DeFi makes fucking sense. And all of these assets, they are not bearish at all, in my opinion. So this breaking up. So if we get like a higher time frame, this is a daily now, right? If we get a higher time frame retest of this, then I would be a buyer again, I think. And now look at it. I think this is as low as it would go. So yeah, SNX is a go-to. Wi-Fi BTC much earlier, and Wi-Fi, I noticed that playing the USD pairings, Wi-Fi by far didn't act as strong as SNX, for example. Well, but it's also because SNX is in price discovery right now, and Wi-Fi isn't. Also, maybe Andre is also like, you know, Andre is pumping a lot of coins, so maybe he doesn't have the juice to pump Wi-Fi 2 at the same time. But like those updates from from what's possible, like the thread I shared in DeFi channel yesterday, I think, of what's possible with the Iron Bank and the new vaults, that's actually pretty cool. I think that Wi-Fi, and Junkfood keeps pointing that out, Wi-Fi is going to be a very, very scarce asset. And we had that day where I think Maddox and we were bidding on Wi-Fi on a deep wick, and it happened on spot, but it didn't happen on futures. Like the futures retracement was like 15% less, I think. We were wondering why. And I still think it's weird that the futures didn't just follow it, but I think that the bounty on spot Wi-Fi is way higher. Like futures is just a derivative. You can't exchange them for the underlying asset. And what's actually scarce is Wi-Fi, right? Like all of the Wi-Fi is already in circulation. There's no like additional dilution, no like pre-sale distribution where you could hope for a big dump or just, you know, buy it off somebody when that happens. Basically it's out there, and if it's valuable, you gotta grab the few that are on the spot market. So causing, it was this week here, like we had our orders in here, we would have gotten filled on the future side, but it didn't go there. But here on the USD spot side, it did all of that, and that caused a ton of stop losses. I'm pretty sure, and then just shot right back up, and it even broke that high. You can see that here. So that was ultra bullish. This is also why I think that this also is still bullish, just like a giant horseshoe thingy. And a lot of people parted with their spot Wi-Fi there. I'm sure about that. So yeah, Wi-Fi is bullish. Just wasn't the time yet for it to really shine. Not like for SNX. So here are Bitcoin zoomed in, Wi-Fi BTC. It's a very, very extended horseshoe, right? And now we're just doing bull flag, bull flag, bull flag. Yeah, Wi-Fi BTC looks bullish too. So if you want to have more BTC in the future, each of those, there's like, you know, obviously comp already went, but looks all right, but just now bearish retesting. So out of comp and Rune, I would go for Rune, because Rune still has like the potential upside of at least testing here, or maybe even breaking here. On comp, I would wait for a retest, right? So set an alert. In case it does this, maybe. Sushi has been in a strong trend against BTC for a while. One of the outliers in the alt market, made some serious gains like after the end of like the DeFi capitulation of that first phase. This is up, like it was up 350% the peak, and it's already back to 300%. So that's pretty amazing if you consider what kind of a run Bitcoin had over this period of time. Uni. I mean, yeah, I like that too. Uni BTC, double bottom, now potentially starting an uptrend. Yeah, this held, so yeah. This one held. So low, high, low, high. And this needs to be the higher low, and luckily it's a fucking giraffe. Well, not the best giraffe I ever painted, but Ocean, one of the laggards, and I think that in terms of composability and being like a DeFi primitive, I think Ocean is not really part of the pack right now, and that might be the issue. I need to look into it and see if there's something going on, but like that partnership, they were the ones that merged with what was the name? VI VidT? Was that? No, that was that Ocean and VidT? Anybody know? Do you know what I'm talking about? There were like two projects that merged recently. I think that might have been Ocean. So that's not what, you know, what the DeFi space calls for necessarily, like merge with a 2018 project, kind of meh. Still, just in terms of what's going on here, yeah. Equal lows with the closes. Oops. Bull div, everything going, number go up. Yeah, I think even Ocean should have at least the juice to do something like this. Oh, that's 76%. That's not bad. Like it would still be in a bull market. Like this one might stay in a bull market against Bitcoin, right? Like even if it tests here, which is like 170%. Who knows? Maybe it doesn't have the legs to go further, but that's still a really nice inefficiency that, you know, these work to both sides. Like the price doesn't like the fact that this is here. We need to figure out who's still there. There are like more buyers and sellers, etc. So the chances are that it will go back up there. I mean, if even DAG bounced, then this can definitely do 70%. And we don't even need an alert. Like this is, I think you could actually buy Ocean BTC here. And the downside, well, if this 72%, then this is also not that little, right? Yeah. So it's kind of dangerous. Like lose 15%, you gotta keep that in mind with your position sizing. I don't think I would hold into this wick. Like if it loses this, I would probably like wait for a small bounce and close it. But yeah, the structure looks pretty alright. Yeah, and it's probably going to be one of Maddox's horses with a cowboy on it when this is done. Are you there, Maddox? There was some serious art skills. Ren BTC. I mean, Ren now has more competition than when it started out, right? But it's still got a serious use case, like tokenizing Bitcoin on Ethereum. That's still going to be a big one. So I think after an 82% drawdown and filled all of this, if this is structuring out nicely down here, then that could be a nice, very nice play too. Look at that. Yeah. And what do we got? A bull div. Same thing, like these are very similar to how Ocean is looking, and it's also one of the weaker ones, right? So it makes sense that the underlying action is a bit similar. But here, like the diff is even more pronounced as we were going lower. It's not equal lows, but still the wicks all, you know, none of the wicks close below that level, so that's nice. Which, as you can see, makes a lot of sense here in terms of the previous structures. Yeah, bull diff going here. Let's go to 3 hours. Oops. Triple bottom. I mean, quadruple bottoms are rare. If this goes down here again, I wouldn't even like stop out down here. Like I would probably just, you know, if I take it, like this is let's say this is a flag with a breakout, and you pick it up here on the retest. If it goes down here, I wouldn't wait to be the liquidity down here, because quadruple bottoms and tops are pretty rare. And on the 4th time, that I would be surprised if it held. But since we are at a triple bottom now, and this is bull flagging, I think this has a chance to break out of this EMA thingy, which I bet has a better resolution to it. To see what's holding it down. Yeah, like here in the 4 hour, a lot of touches, and it keeps getting rejected. Oh, this was actually something that I noticed with Bitcoin with Bitmonk the other day. These reclaims, Bitmonk, are you there? Oh no, he's not. Let me check something in my chat with him. Yeah, the 1 hour, 200 EMAs. A lot of pumps happened when this reclaimed and tested a bit and tested strongly and held. So the fact that Ren currently is doing this and is coming out of this bull flag, I think that this could be a really, really good entry already. You know, this. Here we go, Maker. You know, keeps faking out, getting rejected, and how do we know the other, like, how do we know Ren is less likely to get rejected now than all those times before? Because others have already started performing this flip, and look at the performance. Like Maker, I think, did at least 2x from here. Yeah, a little bit more. So Maker obviously strong against Bitcoin. And we like to see that. In my opinion, Maker might be close to like having fulfilled its purpose for now. I think it's time for others to take over as we are running into this resistance right here. Could also like frame it like this. Oops. Like there's sellers waiting here. Which is alright. If it gets above this, then it's like crazy. Then it's crazy alt season time, in my opinion. But even if it doesn't, it could still offer some nice trades. If it goes here and then tests here again, for example. Let's put an alert in that. Here, that was resistance last time. So this structure, like similar story to up here. Oops. We got some support resistance going on there. Cool. Yeah, Mega not a play right now. And I also wouldn't like short it against the USD just because the BTC pairing looks like it might get rejected here. It might not. It's just not the best RR play right now. I noticed how Degen Spartan became bullish on it after being bearish on it for all of this. So I should have probably looked at that chart more closely when it reclaimed that EMA. Missed that though. The bane of my Binance alt trading, AST, but I'm stubborn, and I think that this is also starting to structure out now. This is not like this right here. I'll show you. It's still struggling a bit, but it's doing the 100, the 200 EMA 1 hour reclaim, and now it's starting to hold above it. And to me, this looks like somebody's making these weird drinking noises. Is that Mick Crypto? I'm going to mute you for a while. Hope that's okay. Like, that doesn't look bad to me. Definitely looks better than it did all the way down. And also here in the 1 hour, for the first time in a long while. I mean, I bet you could have found structures like that in here too, there, where it loses it again, and then it just dies. So we need to stay on our toes with this one. But 2021, they have so many governance proposals being implemented during the first months that changed the tokenomics drastically. So and give more value to the token, which is something that I'm looking out for this year. And this is one of the first ones where we actually got that clean confirmed trend here on the hourly. It's not there on the daily yet, but it's definitely making me a bit more confident in this. Yeah, and this looks nice. Like, even zoomed out, that those lines make sense. And we got like the full, finally, the full up move is gone. So this really like, and it's, what's it doing? It's to borrow from Zavi here. It's retesting the bear trap. It kicked everybody out, like kicked everybody out before it did this. And that's something that we like to see. And if it goes back into the bear trap, like the same thing applies that Sabi discussed during the call. If it goes back into the bear trap, that wasn't a bear trap, and that's super bearish. That's, you don't hold through that. You don't think, oh, it's gonna double bottom. Like, if we frame this as a bear trap, then re-entering it would render the whole trap like meaningless. I mean, I guess it was meaningless because people still missed this, right? But still, it wouldn't be a bullish sign to me. I would be very, very careful buying that double bottom if that happens. But now that we tested it and are structuring out nicely, that I find pretty bullish. Okay, more BTC pairings. My favorite Flexa network. I mean, this is, I just need one line for this. Oh, not this one. That was the wrong line. There you go. Just like double bottom. I think the R here against Bitcoin is really, really good. So yeah, if it loses this, obviously that would be pretty bad, and we would have to look ourselves in the eye and think, okay, is Bitcoin outperforming this like forever? Like, we'll never have a streak of outperformance against Bitcoin. But currently, I think that the RR down here is really, really good. But to be honest, this is not as bullish a setup as others we saw, right? And AMP, while it has uses in DeFi, it's not really being accepted yet, or not really very much like in the scene or public knowledge what you can do with it. Loopring started to add it as potential collateral, so that's pretty cool, because that's basically the use case of AMP as being collateral. Now, since DeFi is all about liquidity and collateral, I think at some point they might wake up to the fact that AMP is a very, very innovative and cool form of providing collateral. So I think it could catch on to that DeFi trend, but it's definitely not part of it right now. But hey, this could be in a very exaggerated bull flag or like wedge. No, I don't wanna project anything onto it. It's just a flag, just like trend going down. I'm curious what Xavi would think about this. So far it's just wicking upwards again each time. Xavi here? Oh, Xavi, hey, what's up? What do you think about the AMP Bitcoin chart? It's not, you know, it's not the most bullish that we looked at so far, right? I'll open that up. Oh, in general? No, it's not in general. Yeah, it's basically that dull bottom idea, right? Like that this could be an accumulation zone for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because otherwise, like KJ always says, that if that goes back down, I mean, it has the chance to do like on the low time frame become basically a like V shape and like Adam and Eve style thing. That's the chance is there, but you would want this entry to be scarce, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Which one is that? Yeah, I see it. Oh, it's the SMA, right? The EMA, the red one. I see. Yeah. And if we look back here, I mean, the price was closer to it back then in 2000. What's that? 19? No, that's 2020, right? Yeah. But like eventually it didn't hold, and then it flipped green. But that's because that's the Bittrex chart, right? Against Bitcoin, because that's just not the pairing it's being traded on, right? Yeah. I wanted to include it because basically the the subject of the stream is how can we outperform Bitcoin and stack more Bitcoin. So um, oh yeah. You are hello robot choppy for me. I'm not sure if that's the case for everybody. Can you try again? Oh, it's better. I was able to understand you, like the story of how if you send BTC to Gemini, if you want to get AMP and you like need to sell into their USD on their, like there's no pairing, right? Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. I think there's a lot of upside against the USD. I think eventually that Bitcoin chart is going to look different than now. Yeah, and here we can see like on the USD side, it's just doing mean reversions to that 200 EMA on the 4 hour. So it looks alright. If it starts losing this, then that might be the trigger to get out and try to buy it lower, in my opinion. But currently the trend is holding very nicely. I mean, you could also say that as long as this low holds right here, this trend is still intact. Okay, more Bitcoin charts. I said that we wanted to look at privacy coins because all that regulation narrative, together with the political climate in the states, has started some discussions on Twitter where people think that privacy coins might have a very strong year. So there might be a narrative starting here. And obviously this is absolute death. This is absolutely ugly against Bitcoin. And still, this volume right here, that could be like a sort of capitulation, in my opinion. And even from here, like this looks like it's bull flagging right now. Even just to a bearish retest, it's 34%. I like that. And if it can break back in, then that would be very, very cool, because that would have swept everybody out who had stops against BTC, like on BTC pairings. Like all that accumulation and it falls out of it and re-enters, I would find that very bullish. If it bearish retests, then never look at it again. Just keep your Bitcoin, basically, or use it for its use case. But yeah, the fact that this accumulated for, okay, let's say it's accumulated for, what's that, a year, and then it gave some profits, but not the profits you would want if you accumulated for that time. Okay, like 60% Bitcoin. On the UC side, obviously that was pretty cool. Still kind of meh. And then it just falls out of it and dies when you thought, I thought that this was like this nice double bottom and would just go again. Yeah. So if this re-enters, that would probably, like, you could play the bull flag here on the low time frame, but if this re-enters the accumulation range, again, you got sellers waiting here, big time. then that could be a lot of upside, in my opinion. This looks pretty bullish to me right now. Yeah, I think XMR for a bounce into that level, like at least to here, that's pretty doable. XMR against Ethereum. Okay, looks almost the same. Don't need to look at that. I want to get cute there. Zach already flipped that level. I think XMR, yeah, no, it's basically the same thing. Like privacy coins in bounce mode, flipping several lows, several highs and lows here. So this also looks like it's good for more upside. I think it's more limited in percentages, yeah, than XMR still, and I like where XMR was sitting better to get entries on this. Like I'd rather enter here than on ZEC up here. Yeah, same story. Actually, yeah, kind of a nice short leg giraffe here going on. Still below that EMA here on the 4 hour, but eventually I think this was going to break upwards. Something like this I would not fall into, because like, you know, like it's pretty arbitrary that we are looking at it right now, and this might look like it's curving upwards, but I would wait with orders here at the lows of that flag, not necessarily by the top of it. Like maybe something like here. On spot you don't have to be super precise. You can just scale in, and I mean you can do that on leverage train too, but you can have a wider entry range and then scale in more heavily at the bottoms. But then if it loses that, it would test. You probably would test this. Or maybe it would even go up again, but if it loses that, I wouldn't hold through it, because that's like a 17% drawdown. In my opinion, that's too much. I would rather stop out and pick it up down here again. PIVX, obviously the lowest volume. This is the Bittrex chart. Okay, like I think it's on Binance too. I bet it has better volume there. But oh yeah, something else about Dash before I move over to PIVX. If you move out here, like just in terms of, could this be a narrative play for like, could they have a comeback after all of this? These charts are absolutely ridiculous, by the way, absolutely insane. This is basically the full retrace back to before the Masternode millionaires were made. Like this is the level that we tested now. So there was like, what's that, 2 months where Dash was trading on Polo, and all the years after that it was trading higher. This is 2014, and now we're back to that 2014 level. I found this pretty amazing. So if privacy coins have a narrative, then these things have some serious upside, in my opinion. I don't think they have like this upside with where BTC, with how BTC is being priced nowadays. But still, like they would, like we look at this downward slope. We had a longer downward slope now. Here you can see what I said about Maker earlier, how once it does that, it might need to cool off. least this 60%. Might even go to here. And if we have a breakout, like on that one, you could see something like here, like the 200% to there. So yeah, that's why I like the potential upside on privacy coins at the moment. And here Pivex, same story. That chart, it's just too good. Like what? What did Pivex do back then? Okay, this the chart doesn't reach that high. And that's in a super short period of time when it did that. I watched the Shitcoin Talk episode, like the one they did with a lot of people last week or on the weekend, shortly before Bitcoin crashed. Actually, they gave their moon Bitcoin targets for end of 2021. And Kobe had a very, very good examples when he was talking about altcoins. Obviously, for him, like he says, he prefers playing League of Legends and avoids the stress, but he doesn't have to because he's got so much BTC, and he's swing trading that pretty efficiently. But he said back in 2013, alts trading was so much easier than it is right now, because he framed it as alts being like a horse race, where if you bet on the horse, it goes faster, and if you don't bet on the horse and nobody does it, it dies. So obviously, if you have like 15 alts in the ecosystem, and then like two new ones come, and you figure out which one gets the listing on the handful of exchange that are hot, then it's pretty easy to make money on that. And the bets are so concentrated on that coin that the horse just becomes an absolute rocket. And now you have 2,000 alts, and that makes, if we stay with that analogy, that makes keeping the horses alive a lot more difficult, and making them really, really fast even more so. So I like that, and he said that he would advise to play mostly coins that didn't have a cycle at all yet, where you can take advantage of that first cycle and that speculation, and avoid the ones that have been around for a long time. And I think I agree with him. That's something that Messiah pointed out when we did our stream with Jake and him a couple months ago too. That he said he avoids, like, especially coins that he made money with. He avoids them, like dating ex-girlfriends. So yeah, I like that. So the privacy coins basically fall into that category, right, where they obviously had that giant cycle, and they are not likely to do that again. But if they get a narrative, I think they could be good for some nice percentage gains. And we've been looking at this, and it's like 200%, 150, 300, and it's not even a blip on that chart. So that's absolutely doable in my opinion. Like where was that? I think beginning of 2020. I made a very, very like nice trade on Dash. I remember Loma doing that with on futures, and I think it was this one. Yeah, wait, he did this on futures and made a ton of money on that. So since they are relatively liquid, as they've been around for a while, they are pretty useful. Man, I'm just seeing, like, now I'm seeing a dog, and here's another dog. I'm just starting to see animal shapes everywhere. It's getting too much. Okay, so I got some like uni plays left, and with them obviously I don't really have easy ways of looking at their relation to Bitcoin. Do you guys have any more like BTC pairings that we would want to look at? You can open this one. Fala. Tupac brought that one up recently. And I was looking at this and was thinking, this might be a bit too early on the BTC side. If it manages to break this, like if our goal is to increase our Bitcoin, I mean, it does look like it might want to do that, but I would play something like this, I think, instead of just entering here from the BTC side. USD obviously looks kind of good with this this range. Broke out of it, fell back into it. You could let me just use something else here. I set these up, these GAN boxes, with a very minimal setup where it just gives me that range equilibrium, and that's oftentimes very, very useful. Like even just that, not fibs, like just the middle of it, oftentimes very, very useful for trading ranges and identifying where they could bounce. So this is good, but this could also be a deviation. As long as this starts to hold now, I think on the USD side that's all right. Bitcoin, again, Fala Bitcoin, we want to get a flip here, which would also give us a high and higher low. So I'd like to see that. You can zoom in a bit more. Here also, like on the 4 hour, we are still firmly below that trend, and what you would want to see would be a flip of this, the lows that it lost. Oh yeah, here, 1, 2, 3, and then there's no quadruple bottom. Like what we talked about earlier happened here. So this fell out of it. This might end up being a sweep and might end up looking like a bear trap. There's some nice volume coming in since about here. So this might end up looking like a bear trap in the future, but only if it moves up, tests that EMA again, and then makes that flip and then breaks out of it. Let's look at the 1 hour. Ooh. Time to get excited. Is this going to be it? Might be. I mean, when Tupac mentioned it, it was still below the EMA, and it was actually a very nice spot to pick it up, because now you can sit through that flip and watch it unfold, and if it holds here, great. If it falls, and you got an entry here, you got a stop loss maybe here, probably below that. So if we got an average entry somewhere in that region, that's it's super tight. Like you could go 5% and see if that works, and that should be enough for that flip to play out. I'd be comfortable in that Tupac right now. So did somebody make suggestions of what to look at? Okay, this is definitely a Chinese dragon. You see that, right? So yeah, 1 hour, 200 EMA, reclaim, nice bounce. Looks stronger than what happened here. Didn't fall below it again. And the timing of the general market, that could actually take off from there. Ugh. Is this a bear trap, sir? I don't know. This was the bear trap. We swept it. I guess that this is still, yeah, for 50%, and then you can see what happens. Because the low time frame looks pretty good for, like, again, we have that inefficiency where if this were the other way around and this was a breakout, we would also think that, well, at least this gets filled, maybe like into that structure here, at least this. But and then you got that wick here, so you could argue that that would be the inefficiency, but I could also see all of this getting filled. That's probably like 30%. Yes. So just for the quote-unquote retest of the breakout. And then you could see, you could take some off, move the stops up, and maybe that ends up being a low sweep, and this is bullish. But I mean, Qcoin has been kind of dying. I don't know if Soul is trading somewhere else that's not on TradingView, but this volume sucks. Like there's no, I mean that was similar where you didn't even get capitulation volume when it took out the all-time low. So I don't know, but I'm not super in love with this. Still, this low time frame structure, in my opinion, is absolutely playable. Like that's just above this, or let's say above the MA. Here above this, if you get an entry, you could ride that upwards a good amount. Let me actually look at that because I saw it earlier today. Oh. Actually reclaimed the all-time, like the former all-time low. I'm surprised. Then again, I made this. I posted that in the DAG channel, and I said, yeah, Fips work both ways, and that was pretty good. I wasn't going to catch that though. It's okay. Again, no real capitulation volume. Like the volume actually stays equal and even goes down as this dies down. Like interest just fades. And now you got a strong impulse on that candle. But it's not like, sorry, gosh, turn this off. It's not super significant yet, the volume here. Not a bad sign. The fact that we managed to reclaim this low is good, and we're even challenging the next major monthly level. Like this thing has so many interactions and so many moments where that original uptrend could have failed, and then it does this like bear trap below it, and we're even reclaiming that looks actually kind of promising. Like it looks like it doesn't want to die immediately again, but could again go at least for a higher time frame. Not a higher time frame, sorry, like for a higher retest of a more recent structure, which is still 43%. But yeah, I was just curious what's going on with it, because the liquidity on Qcoin DAG is not the best for doing swing trades. It can result in these very again like this is like a super inefficient move, right? If these structures weren't so close to it, I would also say that this has to has to test down here again at least. It might even do so actually. Like, okay, you wanna reclaim that that all-time low. Well, let's make sure they're actually by us there. Let's make sure that this is real. So yeah, I could actually see this inefficiency being filled, but it might not, because these structures are still pretty close to it, and then it would flip here. But then also these more recent resistances show up, and that's where I took the 1, 0 and 1 from for my fib down here. Makes a lot of sense, right? The dump before the big expansion, took that fib, got me that 0.618, and that was the target. That BTC for I'm the Moose. What's going on? Fuck. Oh yeah. Well, this didn't happen, right? We went down again, but we made another higher low. Trend still looks intact. This a bit similar to what we saw on like some of the earlier DeFi coins. I mean, this was like an attempt at a bottom with that, kind of horseshoe thing into giraffe, and then the giraffe fails, pukes all over the floor, and then we get like a nice uptrend, which now is looking a little bit weak, right? The way that this is rounding off below resistance, I don't know. This might end up becoming like a falling wedge thing, like a bull flag kind of thing. Bull flags, they're like at the end of downwards movements happen too. They're not as like typically, typically you would consider that a bull flag, but this can be a bull flag too. But the way this is rounding off against this, I'm not super sure about this. I guess if you are in vet against Bitcoin right now, as long as this uptrend here holds, that's actually all right. Okay, these colors are awful. RSR BTC and Link BTC can do. That's the wrong chart. Ooh, nice. We like that. That I tested this. Like we talked about this when we broke out of that. That's the 4-hour, right? So, and we said that this has to hold. It did. Now it breaks out of that angle again, and now it tests that angle so nicely. Yeah, I think RSR looks good against BTC. Like this is not a bear flag. This is just like a range. So is this reaccumulation, or is this distribution? I think out season, so I think this is reaccumulation. Yeah, that looks good against number go up, in my opinion. Not that, sorry, RSR. Link BTC. I think my Link BTC chart sucks, which is a testament to the fact that I never really participated much in that whole run up. Well, I started charting it early enough. I made circles back here, but I don't know. I didn't own it there, at least not for long. Yeah. So we talked about this one, the quantum too, and it's definitely at a pretty critical place. Obviously these angles aren't holding the best right now. Let me try some angles until I find some that suits my bias. So I think this is already invalidated. Yes. So that can't be it. I have like working ones, I think, on the, or working angles on the, this one can't work. Be something that's less steep if it's supposed to capture all of that movement. Yes. Yes, that looks good. That suits my bias. No, for real though, I didn't use that other one because it was already, the price had already moved out of it a couple of times, and we were also out of that fan completely already, and did so earlier. I had that one fan on AB USD that was from way earlier, and there was a lot of price action below it, but then it re-entered those angles, and then everything just like it just ping-ponged between the lines like almost perfectly, so I kept that. But this would actually be how you would do it. And as you can see, this would have been some, obviously, like you get some overextensions, but this would have been some nice guidance for that trend. Yes, it would have been. Oh man, this reminds me of that altcoin market cap chart where I have the Gann fan on it, where before the 25-30% dump, that like got almost kissed. Was one reason why on the weekend I said take some profits. So now that we've got the fan, suddenly this looks ultra bullish, right? I don't know about that, but I'm unsure about how this looks. I mean, it's alright, there's support here. It's on that fan. There's a monthly level that isn't really being respected as it used to be, right? Like, this was way cleaner, in my opinion. Let's see if we are above the 1 hour EMA. We are not. Well, this price angle, like on the macro, didn't look as significant right here. Obviously, it's getting some nice interaction, right? Like resistance here. At least that area, support here, resistance here, flip here, and now yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this right now. Might be a bull flag, but if it was, oops, again, if this was a bull flag, then that breakout is super weak and it's kind of dying again. So I'd rather set an alert to here actually, maybe here. And if we can get a proper breakout, then I would also be interested. Let's say if it takes this high. I don't have a line here, but still in terms of the structure that makes sense. It would be pretty alright, pretty bullish on the low time frame. Okay, we got RSR, we got Link. I mean, Link USD we could also take a quick look at. This could end up being like a horseshoe kind of thing. Too early to tell. but this also looks like if this doesn't become a horseshoe, then you actually entering kind of like the top. Yeah. Damn. Well, you're already kind of in a downtrend. Like, to be bullish on this on the USD side even, I think I would want to see this. Or pick it up lower. Again, down here could be an alright spot for an alert. It would be the second time, which is still alright. We got that price angle, we got like fib, 0.618 from I don't know where. Okay, yeah, from that's actually pretty significant, that level. The 0.618 from the March low to the current all-time high, and you can see how that's been very, very interactive, that level. So if we get there again, it'll be the second time on this retracement. I think I would bid that. And afterwards, that doesn't hold, I would bid down here, where you can also see how, except for that like huge dump, I don't remember what happened here. I think that was like the other BTC dump from just before Christmas. Yeah. So like this angle together with that 2.618 fib, I would also bid. And that comes from, that was like an extension I made down here. Which, as you can see, also kind of a useful extension, right? Like after, I mean, obviously you never know. I mean, there are techniques to get an idea of which one could be the quote unquote the top. But if you don't know, and you get like this, and then it goes up, and it gets steeper and steeper and steeper and more parabolic. And let's say, you know, you sold a little bit here because you didn't know. The angles looked like it could still give more, so you kept some, and then you still have all that. It's another 20% on top. Like if you were in from like somewhere here, that's 250, 260%, and boom, you making 360%, and then you're out, and then it gives like 5% more, and that's the top. So that's pretty great, very useful. Oh yeah. You guys want to look at some lower cap DeFi stuff now? Or like anything else? You can also talk, by the way, if you'd like. We got the smooth beats going. I got a coffee, but I'm feeling like I want to switch to whiskey. Nothing? Okay, I'll just go ahead with the... No, it's not Irish. If I pour the whiskey into it, it will be, but... Let me actually, like, just pour a glass. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry to keep you waiting. Okay. Oh, we covered this one. So this was another one that Tupac brought up. I think the use case is pretty cool. And it's actually built on Hedgehog, which is also nice. Like I got the Hedgehog chart here too. Which Hedgehog like is a so-called DeFi primitive, basically a basic service, a basic platform that's built to perform a service in DeFi, and other applications can build on top of it, and that's the case for White. Like Hedgehog is an options platform, decentralized options platform, and White allows you to hedge buys that you make with, like, you know, in the same order. You're basically buying a put option against your spot position that you're buying. Pretty cool. So the chart is still very, very fresh, and I'm not aware of maybe Tupac, are you still there? No, he's not in here right now. Maybe he knows. Like, I'm not sure if there was a private sale for this even. The chart is just ranging, and this is against Ethereum. So the USD chart for this probably looks pretty bullish. Actually, this makes sense. So we are at the top end of this, but this looks like it could be gearing to break out against Ethereum. Let me actually pull that up. Against USD. Yeah, pretty strong uptrend even here on the dump. This held, basically did a retest, didn't like the inefficiency, filled it, the low held, and now it's kind of structuring out. I think this looks pretty good. It's at like a very, very low cap, but in my opinion, this could be a good play on Uniswap. Yeah, this chart is a bit too nasty. The way that TradingView shows these Uniswap charts from time, like sometimes I have no idea why it does that. I mean, cool thing is though, we got it trading against WBTC. Is this correct? This is the wrong way around. Never mind. So yeah, it's pretty cool because we got the Badger chart. Now that I inverted, we got the Badger chart against Bitcoin. And this actually looks kind of alright, in my opinion. Yeah, this could actually turn around, and even just from that history. So information on Badger. Oh yeah, like we can go back to White, definitely. Go ahead. Yeah, super low, right? Yeah. I think it has a profit sharing function from the protocol though right off the bat, if I remember correctly. I need to look into it again. I think that was the case. Awesome. So yeah, Badger Bitcoin, I actually kind of like how this looks. It's not perfect, but it has the potential for some upwards action, in my opinion. Test this again, it's not that much. At least 30%. But yeah, Badger is cool as fuck. I think it's going to be bought up when like Dig, the new token on it is very close to launching, and I bet that they will have interactions where you have like Badger Dig farms, so that could increase the demand for the token. I still like it, and it hasn't moved that much yet. Like almost not at all. Go against the USD again. So we're kind of leaving the we're leaving that BTC chart territory now because most of this is so difficult to chart against Bitcoin. I have no idea what happened here, and it sucks that I wasn't around. Like I saw this one candle later, but I bet it was very quick, like over very quickly. And again, this is just ranging. It's not. How annoying is this? Fuck. Okay. It is ranging, but within that range, like let's ignore this. I think somebody messed up there. Maybe make that a little bit higher. I think that's likely. Yeah, I like the uptrend on Badger against the USD. Oh, that's this pretty smooth soprano sax solo there in the background. Was that a clarinet? Hedging, like again, okay, I'm just going to chart these on Chartex because this is fucking ugly. Oh wait, it's actually, but this is actually useful information because when you're you know running around on Uniswap and you look for tokens, you either come from a stable coin, usually. I think coming from WBTC is the outlier. You come from a stable coin or you come from Ethereum, and you want to outperform Ethereum. So Hedrick here, in my opinion, looks like it could be setting up to do that. Obviously, like getting clean levels out of these candles is very difficult. But right about here, and this held. So there's a low here, which is basically this. Like these lows, they held like these levels. This is the 4-hour time frame, so it's not so tiny. It's an okay amount of time that has passed during this. Then flags breaks up. Flags does that thing that bull flags sometimes, not as pronounced, that bull flags sometimes like to do, and now it's close to breaking out against Ethereum. I think that this looks pretty good. I won't pay much attention to this EMA here. Yeah, so Hedrick was another one that we covered in our stream, and I watched it just go back to here, and for some reason didn't buy it, and now again it looks like a dragon. It's like, this is a nice bull flag. Yesterday, like for so many tokens, yesterday was a good day to grab them against the dollar. I went for MPH on Uni, so that's alright. That would have been a nice buy for Hedrick too. Hedrick is relatively high market cap, like 50, 60, 71 already. That went quick, but it's also like one of the few in its sector with that derivative options thing on DEXs. So like on DEXs, but on a decentralized protocol. Yeah. So in my opinion, Hedrick. No. Messiah's favorite. Yeah. Let's find out. Oh, it's Keeper DAO. Okay. 56 million market cap. Ah. Well, sometimes that just happens where you got something on your radar, like broadly on your radar, and then you just never check it out. Like Keeper DAO, I got shilled Keeper DAO a long while back. Yeah, a long while back. And then when everybody started talking about Rook, I didn't even look into the cash tag. I didn't even realize that was the same thing. Long ass time to accumulate that. And then it just, it just slightly starts outperforming Ethereum while Ethereum is chatting. And that's enough. Right, it's not even that much. Like 80% against Ethereum from down here. But that's $80 to 220. Yeah. Pretty low supply token as well. Yeah, I bet that Messiah is going to shill us Rook hard, so let's wait for that. But like, the chart looks great. Again, like yesterday, if you got it on that, like anything you bought was a nice bounce, but I bet that was one of the nicer ones. I mean, say you got it here, almost 70%. Yeah, nice. Now MPH, that's the one I bought. Yeah, and I got more down here yesterday. So those buys, I mean, it's retracing now, but those buys were up like 50% too. I just kept it. I didn't sell the bounce. This, like, MPH is super low market cap. Yeah, I think 12 now. Used to be like, everything moved a bit over the past weeks. 9. No, it's 9. Like, you're correct. Yeah. I signaled these buys down here and there, so because that's yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want that at all. Like this should be max pain. Like, this wig filled the last inefficiency yesterday, and then that's just like a super pronounced bull flag. If this breakout and retest holds, that's what you want now. Mm. I think so too. I think that that the environment at the moment is pretty perfect for this to be a breakout and retest. And then you got like 65% to the highs, 70, and back to all-time high. Which, like, not all of the DeFi launches ever go there again, right? But this one actually has some staying power, in my opinion. That's like 350%. Exactly, like a lot of them have this listing pump, like when they drop on Uniswap, and then that's it for them. And then they could do this forever, or they could just die. But this one actually makes sense, and it can be that, you know, building block of other products. I heard Messiah talk about that too, and I agree. Like Zen also here in the Dojo, Zen also made a very very bullish case on it when he introduced it to our spreadsheet. So yeah, I like it. It's one of my like medium-sized positions, not one of the largest because it's pretty low cap. The upside is large enough, and it's on DeFi where you on DeFi on Uni where you can't have a stop loss in case anything terrible happens. So yeah, gotta factor that in. Some other stuff. Oh, Octo, of course. How could this stream be complete if we didn't look at Octo? I actually have, I think, a better shot. Yeah, this always keeps getting deleted. So yeah, this looks like it, you know, we had the breakout. Now if this area holds, I think it's clear to go higher. Looks alright, and our buys are all in very like safe space places. Like here in that box, that was very very nice. I think we bought some earlier here in the 30s, I think. So yeah, that's an okay average. The average is sitting very close to the lows of the range. So if you missed it down here, I know a couple people that bought it at $5, something like that. It sucks that I didn't and we didn't, but like I got the first position here when it started going up at like 14, I think. I just FOMO'd into it because I watched it, I looked at it down here for like a day when it was hovering at 8 and didn't buy, and then I FOMO'd into it. So yeah, I still like this a lot. Anyway, it's not. That's not the right one. So yes, the meme game is on point. I won't connect now because it's not the browser where I'm usually running my MetaMask. But they're planning to launch fiat on ramps and a fiat on and off ramp, which I find pretty huge for a DeFi for a DeFi product. That's something that currently you usually do via centralized services. I'm curious how they're going to pull that off actually. So a lot of this is still beta and not really functioning, or like Junk Food the other day when he sold his NFT and it did like the opposite trade of what he wanted. He realized that he might have been the first user of that feature. So it's still very very early. But the Octofi platform could be pretty cool, and the token is very very strong in the sense that there's no like VC distribution waiting. Everything is out. There's a development fund, but there's no total supply waiting to be dropped on the market, and the tokens actually allow the holder to partake in the fee share from the exchange. It's just a very, very cypherpunk project, and it's super decentralized, so that's what I like about it. Have I missed any comments? Damn, it was true degen. I keep, sorry, thank you, Hush. I keep saying it was Zen who suggested MPH. It was true degen, of course. Sorry if you're here listening. Yeah, I'm kind of like a little bit out of juice right now. I got more pairings, but I'm starting to be a little random about everything. Like, what even is this chart? A stake, yeah, stake is an interesting one because the this is very interesting. The USD chart is just straight up bullish, I'd say. Like since we covered it on our last stream, it went down a little, but then it just started to reverse that trend, took out this high even. Now it's doing some nice action here, giving us the middle finger. Zabi loves that pattern because that usually does this. So stake on the USD pairing is pretty strong. And now I'm looking at the Ethereum pairing, and I'm looking at this, and this is awesome too. A bit similar to AST, where it doesn't break the bear trap kind of thingy here. Just test that low, filled all the inefficiency of that gigantic pump. Now you could argue that this had a market cycle, right? But it's not a market cycle like the whole of 2017 bull market, 2016-2017 bull market. If you look at those charts, they also had these like several 100% pumps, then steep retraces, and then they went again and even harder. And I think that's for DeFi, that's more likely the case right now. So yeah, I think this one could regain those highs and even eclipse them. Obviously too early to say right now, but I like how it made this low. In confluence with the USD pairing still looking strong and breaking trends, I think the Ethereum pairing could follow. Yeah, MTA. Made a chart for that one. Is this even? Weird. I thought that I had that. This one most likely. Yeah, so when Zabi and I did our stream, it was like in this triangle thing, and I said, okay, it's probably break down, do like a reclaim, and then check upwards. It did that. Now it's coming down. Now it's testing this again, right? This one, it's testing that again. That's actually pretty push in my opinion. MTA, like the market cap of MTA now is so, like, since it's been only dying since forever, the market cap is surprisingly low on it. Let's check it out. That's another one that we're basically preparing for the stream with Messiah. It's another one that he's been constantly bullish on, like even on the way down. But like just his fundamental thesis around it actually makes sense. Yeah, Meta. 14 million. That's nothing for DeFi, potential DeFi primitive for like a composable protocol that could find use in other stuff. It's not. Might be a bargain. Like at least if you, I didn't, to be honest. But if you picked it out when it fell through here, like look at how scary that was. Also, then I would just sit on it, and I think even right now it might be worth to own some. Well, what sucks is that even to that retest level, that's like 14% drawdown from here. That's not great. Then again, like on some of those Uniswap charts, that happens very quickly, and you need to basically adjust for that, like adjust your position sizing in order to respect that, basically. Like again, yesterday would have been an awesome day to pick it up on that retest, but since retest held, I think if it like traces down a little bit and then curves upwards, that's when I would get it. Yeah, maybe not right now, but yeah. Okay, let's put an alert here on the, like if it wants to reclaim that, it will probably at least wick higher than this. Once it does that, it gives us that nice 1 hour 200 EMA. We're above it. We're showing strength. That's when I would be interested in it. And maybe also on the second touch of these lows. On the third touch, maybe not. Okay, I think I'm done with my charts for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I asked for questions a couple of times, so I assume that there are none at the moment. No? Hey Master Eagle, what's up? Yeah, I thought so. At least from a fundamental point of view, I expect DeFi to outperform other stuff. Like there might be an outlier here and there within that giant field in the horse race, like the 2,000-3,000 alts, where you got some that outperform that are not in a fresh Uniswap launch or a DeFi project with a working product that already finds use. But I think those might be few and far between. We could actually yeah. I mean, yeah. Sure. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, first I want to point out that this was something that we discussed, like maybe even on the call or in text in the channels, where I said that the way that a stronger alt, a stronger period where alt performs can start is BTC needs to hit the brakes and needs to do that dump, and you'll probably suffer on the USD pairings on the alts when that happens, but then that's when they will start to really perform. And in that sense, I think going in from USD, yeah, anyways, because they just dropped like 40%, like Serum was down almost 50% on one day. Of course, if you got USD laying around, you use it. And BTC too, because that was the necessary step that we had been anticipating in order for them to start outperforming BTC. So that's also when you use some of your BTC. Personally, in my portfolio allocation, I got BTC that I just not use, that I don't like. I mean, maybe like yesterday was such an opportune time that you could have gone a bit like down into the vaults and grab some of that BTC even for like at least the bounce plays, and then not get greedy with it, put it back on the bounces. But the BTC pairings aren't that hot yet. I think they are going to get hot soon. Like SNX is a good example of how that's starting to perform right now. So yeah, I think it makes a difference, and a lot of the times you might be like a lot of the times during the past half year you would have been ill-advised to use your BTC buying out dips on BTC dumps. You just stay in BTC because we'll just start chatting again. But this time I thought that some more ranging would happen afterwards. We'll see about that, but that's at least the thesis. So using BTC on that dump I think was a good idea. Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah. Exactly, I agree, absolutely. Like, and they all bounced harder, so that was correct. Yeah, you went around when I covered that, right? Like at the start of the stream. Here, like what I still find very interesting. I mean, I posted that. I'm sure you saw that in admin thoughts, but the fact that this is like on the 4-hour, that this is exactly the same structure as Ethereum dominance. Now that we already had Ethereum dominance chat, right? Like it already made ground up to Bitcoin, and now they both look the same. That tells me that the rest of the market is going to play catch up now. That this is a bearish structure, and both Ethereum and Bitcoin dominance are going to suffer because all the other alts are going to perform. That's my explanation, at least. The other I mean, the other explanation would be this is a bullish structure, and it's on both, right? It's on Ethereum dominance and on Bitcoin dominance, and that would mean Bitcoin would chat hard and Ethereum would chat hard, and they would both destroy the rest, and that's just unlikely to me. I think if Bitcoin starts chatting hard again, then Ethereum dominance wouldn't rise with it. That would be weird, and they look like almost identical. So yeah, that's just a theory that I have. And the fact that Bitcoin dominance didn't reclaim this, I find that major bearish for it. Now we need this low to go, and then we can talk about a downtrend on it. So far it's a little bit too early. Oh. Okay, especially yeah, I agree. Okay, so especially if we Gotta go online with Messiah. Sorry, with Messiah later. I need to hop off and give my jowls a break. um, okay, man. That sounds doable for me. Pardon? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, thanks for attending, everybody. It was a nice turnout. And I talk to you later. Bye bye.